we're going to try this again. Try this again, guys. I apologize. I took one of the guys. I'm sorry I didn't even get to see who said that in the comments, but I did lower the bit rate on this stream, so hopefully it's a little happier. I'm not sure what's going on. The first couple times I used the software, it worked beautifully. I had no problems, but the last 2 times, something isn't playing well. I'm not sure what it is. How's it going, Dan? How's it going, Gaines? Well, as I was trying to say, let's get the shock fixed first. Hopefully now that I lowered the bit rate on this stream, it will play a little nicer. Still kind of learning the software on this thing. It's kind of a learning process, and I apologize, guys, for any problems that might occur here in the first few especially. Wasn't really expecting it. But at any rate, I guess we'll get the, I gotta find my little funnel here. Got this tiny cute little funnel to drain the shock oil into. It's kind of my waste bottle here. Go ahead and get this thing drained out. As you can see, the shock shaft is just a little bit bent. That low-C that I went head on with at the track with this thing, when it first happened, I thought I just bent the shock shaft. Everything else first seemed fine. I ran it for about another 10 or 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden I noticed the A-arm was sticking, in the full upright position. So I stopped, and that's when I noticed the shock shaft was bent here. So I stopped, and I thought that's all it was initially. But as I've come to find out, there's far more problems. I don't think my rag is any cleaner than my bench, so we'll just do this. Alright. Well, I got to get this shock end off of here. Hopefully this stream doesn't act up anymore. It's kind of concerning me. What's going on, Dan? Kind of worried me since it started doing this. But I was watching and reading a couple things about using this software, this OBS, and I did see somebody else was talking about lowering the bit rate on it, and I think I probably should have done that right off the start. Now, this shock shaft is so bent, I'm not sure if I can get it out of here or not. I might have to take the nut off the top of this thing first in order to even get it out. Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know if she's gonna come out of there. Maybe it will. Think she's coming? There it goes. Alright. Well, we got the bent one out of there. Be able to break and fix it? Yeah. Thanks for coming back. I don't know what's... the last couple times I was just saying I used the software. It ran fine. But I'm sure any of you guys have seen the last stream. Right near the end, after about an hour into it, all of a sudden it did the same thing. Not sure what's up with it. But I just took some advice from one of the guys on there that said lower the bit rate on the stream. So that's what I did. So far, so good. Hopefully it continues. But here's our other shock shaft. I actually bought a set of these up at the racetrack because the last time I was up there I bent one of these shafts and I just changed it out there real quick. And this time I did it again. I rarely bent shock shafts, and so far every time I've gone to the track I have bent one. Right, Dan? That's what I need to do. I need to get the whole entire broadcast truck brought in here and just park it out back of my place here, and we can do a real professional stream. That could be awesome. Could have like 15 cameras set up in here. Could do it all. But yeah, no, I have a feeling that because of the bit rate was set too high. Hopefully that's what was causing it to it wasn't playing well with YouTube. So I turned that down. Turned it down from 2,500 to 2,000. Hopefully that's enough. Is everything still look and sound okay out there to everybody else? What's up, Guy and a Moose? How much would that cost? Yeah, that wouldn't... Let's just say it would not be cheap at all. Not cheap at all. You guys would be amazed at the amount of money that goes in to a television broadcast. On your average Sunday afternoon football game you guys watch, the amount of money that gets put into that into those broadcasts is just crazy. Crazy. But there's so many different parts between the truck, you know, and the stuff that I deal with, and then the stuff out there between hotels and travel and catering and, you know, anywhere from 30 to, you know, 100 people depending on the size of the event. You know, it all definitely adds up very quickly. Alright, well, we got the new shock shaft in here. It's kind of weird. I feel like it has a spot in here. I'm not sure if I'm just imagining things. Probably are. Alright. Well, I think we can go ahead and add some shock oil back to this thing. To kind of play around here, make sure this thing's going to play nicely with the cameras. Now on this, on the low seat here, I have been now running the 30 weight in the front. However, at the last time at the track, I honestly did not really like it very much. It was a little too soft. I wanted to go with something a little bit heavier. So I am going to increase it a little bit here. Talking to some different guys at the track on this thing. I mean, I know, guys, this is not, you know, a full race buggy, but just kind of playing around with it up there and having a little fun. But everybody up there was suggesting anywhere from like 45 to 50 weight. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to do some 50 in this thing and see how I like it. But we got to fill it up now. I think we'll go with that. Feels pretty good. Alright, that seems to be working pretty decent. At least the shock shafts are easy enough to change out on these things. Alright, so the first broken part is down. Yeah, build it, break, fix it. So far, everything seems to be holding in there, so hopefully that continues. When rebuilding my... Yeah, so far these shocks they're not leaking. I haven't had any of them leak just yet. Any of the shocks on the 6S line. I haven't had any of them, keep my fingers crossed, leak so far. I mean, on the old 3S line, as many of you know, every one of those things leaked. It was nice that Arrma changed those out and put different O-rings on their new shocks, on the new versions. And I haven't had any of those leak yet on like the Big Rock. They haven't leaked at all yet, and I've heard pretty good luck from everybody else so far too. So whatever O-rings they decided to start putting in the new 3S line, those have been staying pretty decent also. I thought about getting the M2C shock shafts for some of these other cars, but You know, I just seen, I think it was Kevin Talbot also, just recently had the same thing happen to his Crate 8S that I had happen to mine on a hard landing. Was I had put the the M2C Racing shock shafts into Crate 8S, and it actually landed. I mean, it was a nice flat landing. It didn't come down wonky or anything, and the whole shock shaft just sheared right off, right at the base of the shock there, right where it starts to thread into the plastic eyelet. It sheared off right there, and it broke. And I just saw Kevin Talbot had the same problem with his Crate 8S. The same thing. He put the new M2C Racing shock shafts on his, and his broke on the last run. So I don't know if it's a weird Creighton thing problem, or they don't play very well with them. Yeah, they didn't bend. That they didn't. They did not bend, but they did shear right off. Alright, well, I guess we'll get pulling the rest of this apart now. Get the bulkhead changed out on this thing. I haven't torn the Typhon apart yet, but should be like every other one, right? Until I run into more broken parts or something else. Everybody out there having a good night? Yeah, that they're having any fun anywhere? Anybody else breaking anything? But yeah, I tried straightening the shock tower here with a hammer in the wall, and it slightly straightened up, but still not very good. Yeah, well, I wasn't running the Crate 8S in the wintertime. This was at the summertime at the BMX track, and I also got the M2C Racing piston kit for it, right from them. And I talked to them, and I asked them, what oils to run in it, and they suggested either 30 to 35 weight with their valve kit, with their piston rods and everything, and that's what I did. I did exactly what they suggested, and first run out with them, I think it was about the first, maybe the second run, but the whole back just completely snapped off, which surprised me. I mean, I've always had good luck with M2C. I'm not, by any means downplaying M2C Racing. I mean, they got great products. It's just weird. Mine sheared off in that spot, and so did Kevin Talbot's. His broke in the exact same place. Just weird. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But I have a lot of their other parts on different cars and have had great luck with M2C Racing. What's going on, Alan? Oh, just putting the Typhon 6S back together after my head-on collision with the Losi at the track the other day. Like I said, I think the Losi won. I did notice he was continuing to run while I had a bent shock shaft, a snapped front bulkhead, and a bent shock tower. Didn't talk to him, but I think he may have fared better. But I kind of came down weirder because I was jumping the triple, and it was my fault. I came out of my lane. I came off the triple a little bit wonky and basically landed head on into his lane, and we collided head on, and it was ugly. So it was my fault. But I'll tell you what, the last time up there, it really upset at myself, because when I was up there last, the video I recorded from that day, I got stuff from earlier in the day. And I really wish I had waited until later on in the afternoon, because after running Typhon for quite a while that day, by later on in the evening, I actually got pretty quick with it. I was up there running with the guys that run the track regularly, race up there, and by no means am I no racer by any means, but started running a lot faster, and they were timing me And the guy up there that runs the track quite often was running right around like 23.5 to 24.5, lap 23, 24 second lap times. And by the end of the night, I was running right around 24, like 24.2, right around in that area, pretty consecutively. So I was pretty impressed with myself, actually, on the track that night. Of course, I had the lap times that were, 15 seconds and longer, whenever you're crashing and other stuff, but was definitely getting faster and faster with this Typhon up there. I was really surprised with myself, honestly. But I wish I had recorded that. I stopped recording, my phone was dead, and I stopped recording everything, and I kind of just zoned out and was having fun running. And by the end of the evening, was getting pretty decent lap times. Do good cheap RC car wheels exist? I wish I could tell you yes, but unfortunately I honestly don't. I mean, somebody else out there might have come across a miracle somewhere. Every time I've tried to order a set of cheaper wheels, off of eBay or Amazon or whatever it is, they don't last. I had bought a bunch of like weird Chinese wheels for my Typhon 3S. I don't know, it was this last summer or the summer before. Cool looking wheels, put them on there, they exploded on the first run. So, as they say, you get what you pay for, and unfortunately it definitely holds true. Now, I gotta remember to change the shock oil in this one, because this one still has the 30 weight in there. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this thing, obviously it's heavy compared to a lot of other cars out there, race cars. But overall, it performs pretty good for pretty much just about anything. And I was talking to a bunch of the guys up there about, different cars and what they run and what they suggest, because, a lot of the guys up there have been running, they run up there every weekend and lots of different cars. And, I asked them what kind of stuff they suggested, what they've been running, and a bunch of them told me the same thing. Was like they had lots of guys, and them themselves, were running the Typhon 6S for quite a bit, and was actually ran pretty decent with them. Well, I'm glad I got the whole entire case kit, because even the retainer for the sway bar is busted. That low-C did quite a number on me. We'll get the sway bar disconnected here. I should probably just pop this all the way off so I don't have to sit there and fight with it later. Alright. Got my Red Bull. I'm ready to roll. I guess we'll bring you guys back to the overhead. So, hopefully, the stream so far is behaving itself. Alright. Start getting all of our broken pieces out of the way here. Now I've got to get the front bumper off of here. But of course, next I have to clean out all the dirt from into screw holes. Yeah, Dan, I really, when I first looked at it, I'm like, oh, okay, I just got a bent shock again. And I was going to change it at that point, but it was a lot, I'd already been there for quite a few hours. It was pretty much done, so I'm like, all right, well, I'll just change the shock shaft while I'm at home. No big deal. And I start tearing apart. And just continued to find more damage after more damage. All this lovely clay that the track is made out of is just packed in these screw holes. Doesn't come out real easy. But that'll probably be the next video I think I post up here in a couple days. Will be of the Typhon up there. Still had a lot of fun, but I didn't really get to record the better moments of actually running pretty decent with this thing. Just going to pull the whole entire bulkhead out of here. Get it over with. I'm going to get this top plate off of here too. Oh, that's right, they got... I don't think it can get this out over here without pulling that totally off of there, though. I've always used a tiny flathead. Yeah, I used to use a little pick, but the little body reamers, these things work pretty nice for digging dirt out of the screws. As long as you're not too rough with them, they hold in there pretty decent. Now, let's start getting the rest of this thing apart. I'm just trying to remember if I have to pull out that entire steering assembly to get that out of there or not. First time I actually tore the Typhon apart. It'll be the first of many, I'm sure. This car is a blast up there at the track there, pretty much anywhere. I've ran it around outside a little bit in some different areas, and this thing is just a great car. It is a lot of fun. Get these pins totally out of there. Pins look straight at least. Didn't bend any of those yet. And I say yet, I'm guessing this is going to make me pull, or at least loosen this up. I didn't think I was going to need to, but it kind of looks that way. Alright, well, we'll do this the hard way. Yeah, I don't like about doing this, you get... Why does that... I thought I could just pull these top screws out. There we go. I don't even think I have to pull it the whole way out. Just has to get loosened up enough for that bulkhead to be able to slide out of there. This just has to get a little bit of movement in here so I can actually pick this bulkhead up out of the way. Maybe. Not sure why it's not moving. Trying to see what's holding this thing in there still. Well, we'll pull this out of there. Maybe these do have to come out. Oh, that's right. I forgot about these. Stupid me. Yeah, I've had the plastic bulkheads break on a few of them. Back, I don't know if he's in here, but buddy of mine, Isaac, just had his. He just bought the new V5 Creighton 6S, and he actually just completely shattered the back bulkhead on his Creighton 6S. He's going to put one of the hot racing ones in his now, so that hopefully it doesn't have that problem in the future. Had pretty good luck with the hot racing aluminum differential cases. Those things have held up pretty decent. So, alright, well, we finally got the bulkhead out of here. You guys can see it is split along there. It's broken there. It's broken there. And the tabs are busted off there. This tab's completely cracked and ready to come off of here. So, she is definitely in need of replacement. This thing has seen better days. Well, I'm just happy that the... What's up, Arrma Big Rock? How's it going, bud? I'm just glad that the stream seems to be settling itself down. Everything's always a learning curve. Figuring out how the proper settings and how some of this stuff plays well with other things. I just wonder why the first couple times I used it I didn't have any issues. And then it suddenly started acting up. I'm just going to change out everything because I got the entire kit for everything because a bunch of this other stuff is broken. So just going to make it all new again. Now, there is no shim on the front. So when I put this back in a new one, I'm definitely going to check and find out if it is in need of a shim. Thought I grabbed the two, evidently not. I have heard more people having a lot of issues with this piece right here. Cup for the rear diff and this grub screw with either A, working itself back out, or B, not coming loose. I haven't had that problem with any of mine yet. But might still happen. What do I reckon the first broken part will be on your X-Maxx? Well, I already have my first broken part. I'll show you. Well, you notice how that wheel just kind of flops down? I broke, this thing's kind of awkward to hold, but the shock shaft here, I don't know if you can see that, the top of the cap busted off of it, completely just exploded, and broke that. But that's the first thing I've broken. Waiting for the new one of that to come in. You know, I've been talking with some people about that, and a lot of people have been having the same problem with these shock caps apparently recently. But they said that the old batches, a lot of people said, oh no, those never broke, that's not a common part you break on them. You know, that's really weird. But then I was talking to people that just recently got them also, you know, over the last month or two, and they've been breaking theirs. So I don't know if it's like a quality control thing going on, you know, with just ones that are out there at the moment, or what. But that is the first thing I've broken, and I was going to order the aluminum ones, but a bunch of people tell me, you know, no, you know, don't put the aluminum ones on there. You know, this isn't a common thing to break and all this. So I ordered the plastic ones again, and I'm going to give them a try. If it breaks again, then I will probably be going aluminum. But we'll see how it goes. Bulkhead brake lace if you capture the lower mounting screws. Yeah, I guess you're talking about these lower. You know, well, this one broke. When you guys see, you guys will see the video of what happened to his. Now, I'm not, by any means, was it just, oh, he jumped and landed and it shattered and broke. No, I mean, we were just near the end of the day down at the new skate park, and we were launching them off this one kind of, I don't know what you call it. It's not a full vert ramp, but close to it. And we were launching, he was launching the Typhon 6S, or the Creighton 6S, and I was launching the Big Rock. And he launched it off and just managed to not quite clear the fence, and the rear bulkhead, the rear end came right down on the fence. on a steel fence. So we think that's what's obviously caused the bulkhead to explode. It's no fault to the part really, but it was cold out also, which didn't help anything. Because, you know, it's cold weather and, you know, RC parts do not go hand in hand too well. They do not like it. So, yeah, I think it was mainly just due to bad landing, bad placement of landing, should I say. But it was close. But I'm going to go ahead, bring you guys back to the bench here, I guess. So, got our new bearings back in the new bulkhead. Go ahead and pull this thing. Obviously the bearings and everything else in this thing feel nice. And they're all nice sealed bearings in these now. There are two, which are really nice. Not dealing with those rather crappy open bearings that they were using. Alright, so where did I put my grub screw? I'm assuming you're talking about these out in the lower tower, these two. If you put nuts and bolts on these, it will save the bulkheads a lot, because a lot of times they will shear out of here. Just like this one, you know, that's what broke on this bulkhead, I hope. I know it's not showing up very well. But here we go. These are the screws you want to nut and bolt. Because as you can see, this was the one that snapped out of there. But I also had other breakage just because I went head on. It split the whole way across the top of the bulkhead. It's split the whole way across the top. And it's split down around the back. But normally, yeah, what I was talking about are these. I did that to one of the cars. I don't know which one it was. It might be on the Outcast. But stupid enough, I haven't done it to my cars. I probably should. Definitely a good idea. I mean, it definitely helps save the bulkheads a lot. Well, that feels nice and smooth now. Now we'll find out what the shimming feels like on the front of this thing. I've had some of the fronts that are really good and other ones that were really bad. So this part in here actually really nice and pretty close in there. It feels pretty good. And honestly, there is zero side-to-side movement in this thing, so I don't see any need for a shim in that thing. Feels pretty good. I'm going to leave that alone. Usually, it always seems like it's the backs, and I don't know if you know why, or why that always seems to be more common, that there's more play in the back. And I mean, I know it doesn't make any sense because they're the same bulkhead, all the same parts, but every time I get one of these and go to shim a new car, it is always the back that seems like it needs it more than anything. But, alright, well, go ahead and get this back together. Put a little bit of grease in here. Work it through here a bit. Be home here for a few more days, and then I gotta head back down to Florida. Only good thing is it'll be warm, I guess. Yeah, I mean, on some of the cars on my Outcast and my EXB, I shimmed the input gear, you know, and put shims behind the bearing to basically push the bearing closer, you know, to your diff. Basically shimming on this side, the side of the big bearing, you know, shimming it that way just a little bit to make it tighter. But this one is really close, honestly, as you can see. I mean, that grease is a very fine amount of grease, and she is pretty much riding right pretty close to the differential case, so I don't really want to get it any closer, I don't think. But yeah, I don't know what it is. It always seems like it's the the back diff, man. The fronts don't seem to have as many shimming problems, but it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. They're the exact same thing. You take this off and throw it on your front, you can throw it on your back, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to wind these the whole way in, but get them pretty close. Yeah, I mean, ever since I've done any of the cars, well, especially if I've done the hot racing diff cases, like on the Creighton 6S, the V4 I have up there, I mean, ever since shimming that thing and putting the diff case on it, I have not had to touch that thing or had any issues with the rear differential on that thing. When I first got it, I was having problems, you know, stripping teeth and breaking and chipping teeth on the spur gear and the input gear and having issues. And ever since shimming that thing and putting the aluminum diff case on it, it has just been absolutely perfect. So she is spinning nice and free. Not a single spot that kind of gets tighter or binds or anything. Everything feels nice and smooth. So we're going to go with that one, guys. But I got to get the front hinge pin brace mounted back up onto this one. So go ahead and get that torn off here now. What's up, Jessica? Yeah, it just gives that extra little bit of teeth to make sure it gets good contact with that spur gear. I think I first started, I know I tried doing a lot of stuff to my EXB whenever I was having all the problems with that thing. And then after kind of figured out what was actually going on with that thing. But I think that may have been the first time I shimmed the inside on one of the 6S cars. But we all know that that was whole separate problems. But now, the EXB, guys, I mean, that thing has been holding tough so far. I have not had any other problems with that EXB, and I had that thing down at this new skate park and was ripping around and whooping on it pretty good. And she held together great and had no problems with the diff. And I really do like the handling of that limited slip differential in the back of that thing. I mean, it very controllable. I like it. Oh, I feel like Jessica. Sometimes I try to type things and I can't even get close to what I was trying to say. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing mounted back in here. Kind of an awkward position. I think I'm going to have to grab a hold of the drive shaft. If I can even get it started. Got stuff flying everywhere. I think we'll go about it this direction. Come on. Not cooperating, guys. Of course, it has to spin just a quarter out the wrong direction. Come on, just go in. There we go. Alright, I think we are good there now. We're going to go with that. Get the hinge pin screws back in here. We get this thing back together. Poor thing's only had a couple runs and already have changed out 2 shock shafts. Now the bulkhead, shock towers, all kinds of good stuff. All right. Now, where are they there? Make sure everything's in place here good. Looks like everything's sitting nice and flush. Get these one back in and start getting this thing back together. So for the X-Maxx, what I do have coming is, I got part of the gearing today. Got changing the gearing on that thing. I'm going to go with the 20-tooth pinion and the 50-tooth spur gear on that thing. Everybody's saying it really livens it up quite a bit, so I got that gearing coming for it. I got part of it. I got the 20-tooth for it so far, but the spur gear unfortunately hasn't arrived. I was kind of hoping it was going to show up today and I could change the gearing on it tonight, but unfortunately the mail is running slow. It just says that the package is running late because of weather. And I think everybody feels that. There has been all kinds of weird weather going on all over the place. Between places getting snow and ice that normally never get snow and ice. And then we were supposed to get hit with tons of snow and ice. We hardly ended up getting that much. It snowed today for quite a while, for a good part of the day, but didn't get a ton of accumulation. Probably like, I don't know, probably got 3 inches, maybe 2-3 inches out there. Fresh today, but that's been about it. Didn't get a lot of ice, but still didn't get anywhere near what they were originally telling us we were going to get. And honestly, I was kind of disappointed because I was all excited. I didn't have to go anywhere. I was off work. Thought we were going to get this big massive snowfall. And I wake up to a dusting and a bunch of ice. Like, this is not what they said. But I guess that's the life of a weatherman, huh? You can pretty much just guess at your job and still keep your job. Front hinge pin brace on this thing is a little bit, this one was a little bit tight. It's not bent or anything. It does have a couple marks on it. But yeah, I know, Jessica, there's so many packages that are just in nowhere's land. There's all kinds of stuff being lost right now and not showing up. Don't know what's going on. Now, this should just go this way. All right. Even our company, we have to take COVID tests every single Monday and send them out. And I've had one of them now today get lost. Other ones have had other problems, but yeah, it's just never made it. Turns into a pain. Alright, I think weird. The one hinge pin was all nastied up while the other one's nice and spick and span. The other one's all grodied up. I'm not sure what's up with that. But I think take a little bit of grease and throw it on the pins. Help keep them moving free. It's amazing how locked up these things can get. If you just don't ever grease them or even spray some WD or whatever you like to use down in here, I mean, how locked up these pins can get is crazy. I have sat there and had these things so tight and sat there beating on trying to get them out of there. So definitely a good idea to pull these out occasionally, grease them up, and put them back in, guys. These hinge pins can get real tight. trying to get them back. You wouldn't think that metal and plastic would get that bad, but somehow they do. Now I'm going to get the typhon all fixed up and ready to roll again. And now I got to leave town and I can't run it. What a bummer. Although I think I might take my my Mini B with me on this trip. Might be fun. Be sitting at a golf course for a week, so maybe I can go out there and jump it at some of the greens. All right. Now we got the front hinge pins back on. Get these screws back in there. And of course I got the wrong bit. Always got a 50-50 shot. I do like that Arrma started putting these front screws on these front hinge pins though. Because, you know, on some of the other ones, whenever these weren't screwed on, you know, as soon as you break the bumper off or something, you would immediately lose the front hinge pin brace. It would fly off, disappear, your pins would disappear. It's kind of a pain. It's nice that these, at least if you do break the bumper off or anything else, that this is still held on there with something else. Because before that, it was a pain. You'd lose everything. Yeah, this would be nice to get some heavier shock towers. Of course, I mean, unless you're landing really messed up. Not a real common thing to break, but they do break. Oh, almost forgot these two top screws. Gotta get these back in here now. Now I'm trying to remember. I think these was in here. Feeling like these are not the right screws now. I can't even remember what I pulled out of the top of that thing. It must have been though. Yep, they are. They fit right. They're not poking out through the plastic. Usually they always use these type screws everything on the bulkhead. Alright. Now we got all the screws back in there. Now I can start getting the front shock tower back on here. Get the shocks mounted up. And lightly put these in here. I think I might. Now why is that one not lining up? Loosen this one up a little bit first. Every time I've done these, I fought with the same thing. Almost every single time. It's like, I don't know if the shock tower's not drilled right, but it doesn't quite want to line back up again. Let me try it from this angle. There it goes. Just had to push down on the shock tower really tight. Then she decided to go in. I guess their tolerances aren't that close with their machine. They're not the tolerances like Allen does. Oh man, this last one's gonna fight me now. Your shock tower is fitting right up, Alden. Had no problems getting those to I probably should have just bought an M2C or something else shock tower for this thing. But at the time I didn't find any. I decided to just throw the stock one back on here, and it probably going to turn out to be a mistake. But see how long it lasts. Maybe as long as I don't go head on with any more cars that are bigger than me, maybe I won't have too much of a problem. Alright. I think, this one's not quite close. Not quite all the way fitted in. It always feels like they're tightened up the whole way. Then you can see the gap. Still a tiny bit of a gap between the shock tower and the bulkhead. So, until that plastic closes up the whole way, it's not tight. Just looking at some of your messages here. How much do you suppose a sheet of, 70-75 to make shock towers for, say, the EXB, the Typhon, and the V4 would be? Like, I could go online, look around, and take a look at it. But I might just take you up on that offer. That would be awesome to have some 70-75 shock towers. Alright, we're going to get the top hinge pins set up on here. I got all these lovely little plastic spacers. And these things are, oddly enough, kind of important. These things do not go back in. You can use other things. People use washers. I've used metal washers and plastic, just regular round washers. But these little clips, if you start losing them out of these top hinge pins, or the top A-arms, you get a lot of weird twist and play in there. So definitely keep an eye on those things and make sure you don't lose them. Now this one kind of feels too tight. Got to find the right combination of, I don't remember which ones were in which side now. But there's different thicknesses. Kind of a pain, honestly, but they do work. I think that's going to be about it. I got to get the screw started a little bit here to even be able to tell. Yep, alright. So this one's got one thick one and two thinner ones in the back. Who knows what that side will need. I need to order some extra of these things. Because they do, occasionally, if these do loosen up, you pull the front end apart, these things pop off, you lose them. And then your A-arms get all sloppy. So I noticed it on my Outcast that it was kind of weird, and front end was twisting kind of weird, and it just had an odd amount of play in it. And I came to find out that I had lost all the clips came off them. I don't even remember taking them out, but I lost all these little plastic shims on the top, and this whole A-arm was just rocking so much. Put them back in, and it all went away. What I usually do is put the thicker one in the front. Use the thinner ones in the back. I think they're probably both going to take the same amount. I know I had all of them used in here. There it goes. Beautiful. That works. What's going on, RJ UK? Thanks for stopping by, buddy. We are working on the Typhon 6S, getting this thing fixed up again. After our little head-on collision at the track the other day with a Losi. This side feels slightly, I mean, it's not binding, but this one is slightly more bound. There we go. Alright. That feels pretty good. But everything else on the thing held up pretty good. Haven't had anything else break on. Everything's been working good on it. This thing is perfect on 4S, running this thing at the track. 6S, still fun, but a little bit too much. It's kind of hard to, it's harder to judge things, I should say. But I tend to overshoot stuff a lot running this thing on 6S at the track. Tend to overshoot things, and you can tell, I even got the little shock caps here. Took a nice chunk out of that thing. Looks like perfectly like some sort of screw hit this thing. Took a nice big old gouge out of it. We get the first shock. This one is the one that I already did change the shock oil on. I'm going to go ahead and change the other side now over to the heavier oil and hopefully get it feel a little bit better. I think that's what it's in need of. Just a little bit heavier. The front just felt a little bit too soft. I mean, it was slapping hard up there. Definitely felt like it needed something just a little bit heavier. So I guess I should have put the sway bar on before I went and put the shock on, because these sway bars are always a grand time getting back in there. Like sometimes they'll pop right back in, other times they are such a fight. What I'm trying to do is grab a hold of it now with, there we go. Alright. It's coming back together. Get this side snap back on. Maybe. I always like your CNC videos. Kind of fun watching that stuff being machined out. But I definitely will take a look around out and see what I can find for some sheets. You know, I guess as long as it's pretty much just, I'll just measure these out and figure out what size these exactly are and take a look around. Because that would be that'd be awesome to get some shock tires made out of that. I appreciate it, Vincent. New subscriber here, great video, man. Hope the lighting is better. Oh, the lighting? Is it kind of dark on the bench here? Because I can turn up this light a bit. I guess it was kind of dim, wasn't it? I was playing around with lighting, and then I started having problems with the stream earlier on. Kind of got sidetracked. Does that look a little better on the bench now? But I appreciate the subscribe, buddy. Get these put back in. It'd be nice to get the Typhon 6S back together. I cannot wait, guys, until the summertime again. not even summer, just for it to be decently warm. I mean, after going down to that new skate park with the X-Maxx and took the Creighton EXB and the Big Rock down there, I mean, that bowl was filled with snow, but I mean, that place has got so much potential. I mean, that place just looks like an absolute blast. I mean, that bowl, the place is huge down there. There's tons of jumps besides the gigantic bowl that they have set up down there. I mean, there's just ramps going off every which direction. I mean, the thing looks like it's going to be a blast down there in the summertime. And I actually talked to a couple guys that are local down there. I don't know if they're in here or not, but a couple other local guys down there near the skate park giving me some tips about, you know, down there at the park and good times to go down there and when it's busy. So definitely gonna have a lot of fun down at that new skate park. I've been looking around for a skate park like that. You know, I've seen other guys out there running videos, you know, running the cars in these bowls like this and look like a blast. And after finally coming across one and getting to mess around with it, we just had an absolute awesome time down there. And I can't wait to go down there when it's actually warm or dry, because even in the snow, it was a blast. Yeah. Just spring, yeah, exactly. I just want the snow to go away, that's all. Snow to go away. We can go back to some dry pavement again. Would be great. I'd be fine with that. I'd be perfectly happy with that. So, oh yeah, this is for the other style. Alright, well, we got all of our broken parts changed out here. So I think now all that's left is I got to change the oil in this shock now, and then we're pretty much ready to put it the rest of the way back together. And of course, what did I do? I went and stuck the screws in the front, and I didn't get the bumper on. I know, man, it's just... I used to enjoy the snow a lot more when I was younger, or even when I snowboarded on a weekly basis. We used to go snowboarding pretty much every single weekend. And, you know, I don't really go, I haven't gone in quite a long time. But, you know, even then, it wasn't too bad. I enjoyed the wintertime. But now that I pretty much want to mess around with the cars 24/7 and enjoy this, I definitely like the summer and the warmer months a lot better. And some of you guys have been posting up your pictures out in, you know, a couple friends out in Phoenix, you know, out in the Arizona area, in California and stuff like that, saying, I don't know what you're talking about with the cold. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, us here in the northeast don't have the pleasure of getting to run all time of the year. Snowmobile, no. Snowmobile's a good time. Snowboarding, I don't know when I stopped snowboarding. It just kind of eventually faded out. I just kind of stopped going. You guys can see, man, I mean, this has been ran at the track only twice. And just how much that clay track has worn off all that paint already. It's crazy. I mean, this back end is completely polished down, and that's just from 2 runs at the track. Thing really got polished. I mean, it's amazing how smooth it is. Alright, stop feeling the RC body here and move on. Appreciate everybody stopping by tonight. Just this weird little piece of the body that they make you screw onto the front. It's kind of odd, to be honest with you. I'm just going to use a regular driver for this, I think. So we can get this in there. But now, I think the only thing that's broken at this point is unfortunately the new X-Maxx. We got the waiting for just a shock cap. I mean, it's nothing major at all. It's just the goofy shock cap is broken on the thing. So as soon as I get that in, you can get the X-Maxx back up and running. I was kind of bummed. I was really having a fun time with that thing running down at the track with that thing too. And then, I don't think it was the jump in the video. You guys that watched that video on it, I don't even think that it was that jump. They kind of just came off that tiny little jump and landed on its side that broke it. I think it broke a couple jumps before that, or at least cracked it whenever I came off out of the bowl, and it completely came down sideways into a stump, kind of on the side of the stump. And I think that's what actually broke that shock cap, because I kind of refuse to believe that that thing broke just from basically falling over on its side. It seemed kind of weird, so I think it broke sooner than that, and I just either kind of started to split, and then that final rollover just finished it off, because it put up with some pretty good jumps, though. I mean, had a lot of fun with it. Did I ever give the Traxxas E-Revo a thought? I've looked at them. Just drive it. I've looked at the E-Revos down there. There was one down at my hobby shop they had down there. This was probably last summer or the summer before. I can't remember. I looked at them. And I heard a lot of mixed feelings about them. You know, a lot of people said that the suspension was really good on them. That, you know, the inverted shocks that they had on it. But then I heard a lot of people complaining, but the biggest complaint I heard about them was that they were not fun to work on. They were not easy to just, you know, repair stuff on them, that they definitely were a lot harder to work on. It took more time. And I think at that point, that's when I bought something else then. I don't even remember what I got. That's my new shock oil. No, is it? No, that's the old stuff. I don't remember what I bought then, but I bought a different car instead. But I was looking at the E-Revos. Any advice to protect the under chassis? You mean the actual aluminum chassis underneath? The bottom of the chassis, like down here? You know, the only things I've ever ran on the bottom of my chassis, you know, a lot of people have been using these under skins, the Arrma skins I've seen people running now. I don't know, I haven't seen long term with how long they actually hold up. Some people, I've talked to a couple people that said, you know, they held up pretty decent. Other ones they've ripped off immediately. But the best things I've ever put on any of the chassis are just, whichever you want to do. I've had a stainless steel version. That's what you guys over here. I have two different kinds. This is what I did with my Creighton 6S. Well, sorry. Tell you, we'll do this under the light because it's better light. On the Creighton 6S here, I got these stainless steel skid plates. Basically just mount right over top of the chassis. These things have held up and worked really great. Yeah, they've really had no complaints with them. Obviously they're stainless, so they're a tiny bit heavier, but I have them mounted on the front. This one is mounted over top of the RPM front bumper. Just kind of add a little bit extra protection. They send you the longer screws to fit these up, so they give you the hardware and these plates. But these things, this car has taken a lot of abuse, and it's held up really great. As far as the chassis, I've never put anything on my chassis. I mean, they're supposed to get that look. You know, as you can, on most of my cars, this the blue finish is pretty much gone on all of them. But it's kind of nice to protect the ends down here, especially where all your hardware is, and you know, stuff like that you're taking out normally in the bulkheads, and it kind of just helps strengthen that area up a little bit. But that's all I've ever done, is put the skid guards on the front and back, and that's been it. Yeah, I think the tag is large enough. So far, we'll see how the X-Maxx holds up. You know, I'm completely hoping for the best. We talked about this before, and I've talked about it many times. I've had very mixed feelings about Traxxas. I've had bad luck in the past, but I think the X-Maxx is going to be fun. It's a pretty proven platform, and honestly, I mean, the controllability of that thing was amazing. I mean, launching it out of the bowl down there and being able to correct it, and its landings were really nice. I mean, that thing just flew beautiful. You could correct it so nicely in the air. It was just like a giant pillow coming down. It's just poof, lands on the ground and went. And that's why I was honestly just really surprised that I broke that shock shaft. I mean, the way that it was landed was just smooth as butter. But for some reason, it decided to break. But it's definitely really, it flies nice. It handles nice in the air. So I'm definitely hoping for the best with it. I want to have good luck with it. So that's all I really can say about the X-Maxx. So I'm hoping for the best. So I've definitely had fun with it so far in its first run. And some people were really surprised that I bought a Traxxas, like that I was all just about Arrma. Now don't get me wrong, I love Arrma. I definitely, probably my favorite products. You know, just being able to work on them, and I enjoy their stuff. But I'm always up for trying something different, and if there's something else out there I can have fun with, I'm going to give it a try. So I decided to try the X-Maxx. Seemed like it was a fun truck. Figured why not? Typically de-ionize them. Sorry, just reading some of the comments here for a minute. Need battery acid. I think I missed part of the conversation, whatever we're talking about with battery acid. I missed some stuff. Typically de-ionize them. Anything with lye will eat. Yeah. Not even sure what you're talking about, but I would agree with that. Alright, well, sorry, I was just sitting here talking, but what I was doing with this was changing out the shock oil. I had, there was originally 65 weight in this, in the front and rear, and then it was not handling really well, so I went to 30 weight in the front and rear on this thing, and then after talking with some guys up the track, everybody was saying that they were running around like between 40 and 50, was working really nice in the front and leaving the back around 30 or 35. So I just threw in some 50 weight Traxxas in the front of this thing, and going to try it out next time I go back up to the track, because the back felt really nice. It was just the front was way too soft. So I'm gonna give this a try. Oh, anodizing chassis. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think if I was wanting to cover up the chassis again, just to cover it, I would probably just buy one of those Arrma skins. By the way, does anybody know, is there a company in the US that makes those? Because the only place I have seen able to find those are from the UK. And then you're paying, whatever it was, like $20 or $30 for the skin, and then another $20 for shipping. I didn't notice or couldn't find any places in the US that sold those. But I haven't looked terribly hard, but anywhere I have looked, I didn't find them. So I thought about trying one. See some other guys running them, and you know, they were holding up pretty decent. A couple people said that, you know, I don't remember who it was. Somebody had one on there, and I think it was like on the second run. It pretty much around all the screw holes on the bottom down here, you know, it started peeling up and immediately getting water and stuff underneath it, and it just all started coming off pretty quickly. But other people have had them come on there, like they may not have been put on right. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why that may have not lasted for him. Proline May. Dark Side Studios. You have to cut it though. Oh. What I've seen, the carbon fiber chassis are super dope. Yeah, I was watching one of the guys that Kevin Talbot runs with. What was his name? I can't remember who that guy's name was now. But one of the guys that Kevin Talbot runs with, I know he was testing one of those carbon fiber chassis on one of his cars and was just beating the absolute hell out of that car. And the carbon fiber chassis held up really well, and he hasn't had any problems that I know of with it yet. And that's kind of cool. I mean, carbon fiber chassis would be definitely something I'd be interested in trying. As you can see, Adam, still have our sweet wheel covers on the Typhon 6S. I lost one on the front here, but all the other ones have been holding up awesome. I'll have to slap another one on here. Yeah, Martin, that's it. I was trying to remember who it was. I couldn't remember which one it was, but yeah, Martin. He was running one of those, and I think he was like testing a prototype or something, because I remember him saying something about, you know, they wanted him to pretty much beat on it and see how it held up. And he didn't have any problems with it that I know of. Carbon fiber chassis on the Creighton. I definitely do one on the, you know, the Creighton 6S, even a Typhon, something like that. The Creighton 8S, I don't know. I guess maybe anything to lighten that car up might be good, because less weight equals less mass getting yanked to the ground on bad landings would probably be a good thing. Yeah, he would. Yeah, that's right. Joe Show. He was landing that thing like on the corners and the edges of the ramps up there, and intentionally just trying to break it, and couldn't really do it. Well, that feels pretty decent, and honestly, it feels pretty equal now. Like it's all floating pretty nice in the front. I think that might be good. Might play with it some more. We'll see how this works out, but definitely feels a lot better than it did. Now I gotta get these front nuts tightened up. But I don't know what I did with my other toolkit. Might be in my truck. I have a feeling is where it's at. Because I have my tiny little nut drivers for these shocks. I don't know where they're at now. Now, of course, I can't seem to find. I have every size in between but the one I need. Alright, well, I guess we'll do this the hard way. They're locking nuts, so they don't have to get too crazy tight. There we go. All right. What's up, PG Boost? It's a hell of a feat. Carbon fiber chassis look great for sure. Yeah. These tires, these are, which ones are these? These are called Dirt Kings by Wow Racing. You can, if you want to take a look them up. I got them at my local hobby shop. Well, not really my local hobby shop, but the hobby shop I go to when we go to the racetrack. But these are made by Wow Racing, and they're called Dirt Kings. And they work really nice on the smoother, you know, dirt, like the clay tracks and stuff like that. I haven't ran them in the, you know, like the motocross track or the BMX track yet. Probably, I don't know how they, I'm going to test them out and see how they work out anyway, but they work out really nice on the looser dirt and the smoother, like the hard pack stuff so far. It handles really nicely too. Definitely changed the handling of this thing for sure. I was running the stock tires on this thing the first time at the track, these things. And I learned real quickly why track tires were important on cars, because these things hooked up and handled like total garbage on a racetrack. I mean, it was just ferocious. And I put these on there, and I mean, it made a night and day difference. But obviously, there's a reason to make the tires. But again, it was my first time running at a track, so it was a learning experience. And no offense to Kev. Oh no, I know. Now, you know, I mean, a lot of guys I've noticed seem to take some of that stuff the guy does as gospel, and I don't really get it. You know, like, I've kind of been the person that I take little bits and pieces of information from multiple people and multiple sources and put together my own conclusion. But I've definitely learned that others don't. It's like you start having a conversation with some people on, you know, some social media platform. I've gotten these arguments a lot of times. I wouldn't even say arguments, because as soon as it starts, I just, you know what it's like fighting with somebody on the internet. It's pointless. But, you know, the guys will start saying, oh, well, Kevin Talbot or this person, that person said this, and it's like, well, dude, have you even tested it? Have you used this car? Have you used this part? Well, no. Well, then use it yourself. Run it yourself. You know, learn what works for you. Just because something works for person A, B, or C does not mean it's going to work for you and your driving style, your driving skills, you know, your driving conditions. You know, all those things play factors into what, you know, kind of works out best. So, that's my only suggestion. But, I mean, the guy's obviously been around a while, you know, he's told a lot of cars, a lot of different stuff, and that's just why I kind of watch a lot of people's channels, and, you know, get little bits and pieces of information and things that they do and setups, and, you know, things that have held up and what have worked well, and try them. You know, if they don't work, then they don't work. Just noticed I also broke my wing that I didn't even notice. I actually split the one side of it down here. So I guess I'll have to change that out here at some point. Split it right around the shock tower. Or not around the shock tower, but right around the actual mount down here. Also, one thing on this crate, on these Typhons, on any of them down here, check and make sure, guys, because these wires love falling and staying right in this line right here. And I noticed real quickly that when the servos turn, whenever you turn hard left to your left, that it was coming back and actually starting to pinch and wear through the wire for your battery. So keep an eye on this. I put a zip tie through it like this just to keep it away from there, because it kept getting pinched between the ESC and the servo there. So I did that and haven't had any problems with it again. It's been holding in there pretty good. Yeah, Alan, exactly. I love Kev's channels. He's funny dude. Love watching his stuff. But I just don't like whenever people take what somebody else said or what somebody else did and speak it as if it's their own experience. Because it's like, if you haven't done it and if you haven't ran it and used it, you know, just... we won't get into all that. But anyway, I think the Typhon is all back in action. We got the front bulkhead replaced, got the shock shaft replaced, we got the oil changed out in the front. Definitely feels pretty good. Everything else is in pretty good in shape on the car, I think. So I think the Typhon 6S is happy again. I also busted the tip of the body. I mean, that's how hard the whole front of this thing came backwards. It split the front of the body a little bit there. Trying to keep this thing in good shape, but we all knew that wasn't going to happen forever. But the Typhon 6S lives again. I'm looking forward to actually getting this car out to a track. Not the track, but like the motocross track or the BMX park or something like that. I mean, I've had a lot of fun with this thing at, one thing I want to put on this thing, I want to put another wheel cap on there. But I have had a lot of fun with this thing at, you know, the indoor tracks with this thing. But I really want to get this thing actually at a, you know, the BMX track or something along those lines, and see how she flies long distances, because I haven't got to send it really far yet. You know, I've had it, 30 feet, maybe even 40 feet, but I want to see how she handles, at the 100-foot plus range. Get another shock cap on this, or not shock cap. Man, I can't talk tonight. Another wheel cap on this thing. There we go. Nice little covers, keeps those nuts protected. Getting the wheels all torn up, making them hard to come off. Things have been great out. Really appreciated this stuff a lot, man. Alright, so the Typhon 6S lives again. Also, guys, anybody out there that might be watching that has or gets the low-C Mini B, when I had this thing at the track, anybody who's seen the recent video on this thing, it was handling really weird at the track. I could not keep it straight. It kept darting off to one side, and I was talking with Alden about this on, I think on Hardcore's live stream something. Anyway, yes, must protect the nuts. They fly, brother. But anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked. These low-C Mini Bs, and I've been talking and hearing a few different people commenting on here. So anybody that might be seeing this or watching this or getting one of these cars, check the stuff, because these cars steer on a dime. I mean, the handling of these things is pretty amazing, honestly. I wish I could turn the dual rate down. I was first wanting to try and turn the dual rate down on this controller, but unfortunately it does not have, unless somebody else out there, wait a minute here, I'm trying to remember how, somebody was telling me that you can turn, I first didn't think that you could turn the dual rate down, but I gotta see, because you do see it has your trim, but then it has dual rate, so I don't know if you have to hold something else in to do that. I'll have to figure that out, but I was thinking about trying to turn the dual rate down on this thing, because the steering is so reactive on these things. But anyway, what I was originally trying to talk about was the handling of this thing. It kept pulling really hard to one side. As soon as you'd go to get on the gas, it would immediately shoot off to the right. Was my problem. And I first thought, I was talking with Alden and stuff here about trying to figure out what was going on with it. I thought maybe it was something in the rear differential on this thing. Now, when I took a look at it finally and set this thing up and put the squares on it and was looking at the camber and everything on this thing, it was pretty out of whack. I honestly noticed then. It wasn't until I really, set the controller straight and set all my trim points to 0. Anyway, what I did was I adjusted the camber and toe and everything on this thing properly, and it drives as straight as an arrow now. So if you have one of these or know somebody that's having problems with theirs pulling off, tell them to give that a check and make sure that their front end is set up right, because after setting mine, it made all the world of difference. I mean, the thing handles a night and day different. It was amazing. I didn't really think that just doing that was going to change its handling, with especially getting on the gas, but it made a big difference in the thing. Skyworks. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, I'm just catching up with comments here, guys. I know. I've seen some of the guys. I think one of the first people I was watching run the Typhon 6S, the new version, that kind of made me fall in love with it was CCXRC. Was him launching his in his backyard, and I mean, he sent it pretty decent back there and landed the thing into the fence post or the top of the fence rail. You got up and kept running that thing, and it was like, I love the way my Typhon 3S handled and jumped. Very controllable in the air. The thing handles terrific. So I figured the 6S version's just got to be, was hopefully the same and handled the same way, and just more power. And so far, that's what it seems to be. I mean, the thing handles great. It's really controllable in the air, so I can't wait to send this thing down at the motocross track down there and see if I can maybe get past that 132 feet mark. I think it was, I honestly can't even remember if it was the Creighton, the 6S, the V4, or the EXB down there, but I have my personal best down there of 132 feet. Probably a good, I don't know, it had to have been 30, 35 feet, as far as height-wise goes, but that's my personal best down there so far, was 132 feet with that. Maybe with the Typhon we could break it. definitely have to give it a try this summer. They had a lot of fun down there, and looking forward to the summertime again. But does anybody happen to know, is anybody used to the controller? I can always look it up. I can look online or whatever. I gotta find out how you change these controllers to a, sorry, bring overhead here, but how you change to go from your regular steering and throttle trim to your dual rates. I know there's this reverse button. I don't know, maybe that's it, because I know that I had to hold that down to change the steering, because the steering was backwards when I first got this controller. So I had to hold that down while turning the steering or something along those lines. I can't even remember what I did now. Too many days ago. But anyway, I know that reverse button changes, you know, reverses a lot of things if you want them backwards. So I'll have to look at the manual and find out how you actually change that, because I'm not positive, but I would definitely like to change turn the dual rate down on this thing a little bit, because like I said, the handling of this Mini B is kind of crazy. The thing just, now granted, I'm not used to, you know, race cars, and not really a race car, but the handling of that thing was just pretty crazy. But anyway, guys, I do have, you know, and then I'm a little upset about this. So I went online looking for the gearing for Traxxas, you know, to get the other gears. I'll bring this over here, camera down. But I went to grab the speed gearing for this thing. Not really speed gearing, but change the gearing on the new X-Maxx. And I found on there a site had the GDS, I think it was, you know, the gearing, and they had the 50-tooth and the 20-tooth gearing. They showed the 50-tooth spur gear, you know, was theirs, and they just showed, oh, the 20-tooth gear, you know, input gear, and it was all their stuff. Well, this is what showed up, the Traxxas one. And I've heard that the metal on these are slightly softer, and they're not, don't hold up as well. I don't know, personal experience, but I'm just going to go in there anyway. But I have the GDS 50-tooth gear coming, and it is hardened. I guess we'll see how long it holds up. Turn wheel right, push buttons, then left, push buttons? Sorry, I'm reading your message here. Turn wheel right, push buttons, then left push buttons. I'll look at the menu. I think I know what you're talking about, but I'll have to try and change and mess with the dual rate on that thing, because I do want to turn it down a little bit. But, because this thing, unfortunately, oh, another little thing here. I'll show you guys in a video. I flex sealed the inside of the body. Now, I am not by any means saying that this was the right way or a good way to do it. It's an experiment. This is strictly an experiment at my cost of my body if it doesn't hold up. But I put together a little video. I'll show you guys what I did, but basically roughed up the inside of this thing and covered this thing with a few coats of Flex Seal, the spray Flex Seal stuff. It left a nice texture. It's flexible. It does not peel up. It won't come off. I mean, I've tried scratching this stuff off with my nail, and she does not want to come off. So, gonna see how long it holds up, guys. Just kind of experiment. I mean, I know the drywall tape and the shoe goo and all that stuff is a proven method. I know that works. You know, a lot of people had really good luck with that. But I decided to just try this and see what happened and how it worked out. So, we'll see. If it's a fail, it's a fail. But figured I would try it and see how it worked out. But yeah, so this is the only part I'm waiting for the X-Maxx, unfortunately, is just this goofy cap. It just snapped right off. I mean, you look at the plastic on this thing. It's not the greatest looking plastic. It's kind of it's really coarse. Like there's it's got a rough, like a thick texture to it. If you guys know what I mean. Like the plastic doesn't look very good, but maybe it's just a bad line of these. But I have a couple of these coming, and gonna slap another set on this thing and take this thing back out. I also got another set of batteries coming for this thing. Hopefully get a little more runtime on it. But mostly I'm excited about getting this gearing changed out of this thing. Because everybody's saying the 20-tooth input and the 50-tooth spur change out on this thing makes this thing a whole different animal. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, that's right. Jessica, I think you told me that you had tried the Flex Seal on that also, right? Exactly. Flex Seal. Was that Paul Smith? No. Paul Swift, was that his name? I know the dude sitting there cutting holes with a chainsaw in bathtubs and cutting boats. All that, yes. That Flex Seal is what the inside of this thing is covered with. It didn't make it too heavy, like it didn't add a ton of weight to it at all. But I mean, it's the nice thing part, like I was flexing some parts of the body, you know, a lot on it to see if it would peel loose. And honestly, it feels like it's sticking really good. Like I said, I roughed it up real good with a green Brillo pad inside, and so far it's sticking down there pretty well. It's basically just the lazy man's way of reinforcing a body. I wanted to try it though. I had to see if it'd work or not. If it doesn't work, then I'll be out an X-Maxx body, and it wouldn't be the first one. I need a body for the EXB. I need a body for the Creighton 4S. I just recently changed the body on the Outcast and the Creighton V4, but unfortunately, I think somebody even commented in one of the videos. He's like, "What's wrong with your EXB body?" Because I mean, this is normally, you know, that much lower. You know, there's about an inch or two more to the bottom of this thing. I mean, it's all jacked up. I had taped this thing together numerous times. It's in pretty bad shape. I gotta get a new EXB body for this thing, but it held up for an entire summer. Also, show you guys this real quick. Put together this thing, the EXB. This is the Creighton EXB, and we got some cooling fans on it now. Get excited! I'm debating what I'm going to post up here next, but we've got an awesome video here with these fans. These are fans from Game Changer RC, and really, really nice fans. I mean, these things seem really nicely built. And they push some serious air, guys. I mean, I'll turn these things on for a sec here. You guys can hear that, but I mean, the amount of airflow coming out of this thing, and when I put the body on this thing, you just feel air blowing out around all the wheel wells. So I can only imagine that not only is it cooling the motor, but it's got to be pushing air over everything and kind of helping keep everything cool. But all I did was I bought a little 1500 milliamp 3S LiPo, velcroed it up there, and you know, it just plugs into your balance plug and pushes a lot of air. But might be posting that video up next. If not, it'll be in the days to come. You know, mounting that thing, installing those things up. But really nice fans, guys. Guys looking for some motors to pull down your speed rigs or stuff like that, definitely take a look at them. Got some nice products, it looks like. Be curious to see how they hold up, and you know, over a good bashing session on how well they hold together on there. But I've talked to some other people that have been using them on their bashers already and been holding up really well for them. So I got high expectations. You can use the fiber tape with it as well. Yeah, I honestly thought about going and trying to grab some the fiber drywall tape or something like that and sticking it on there, but I honestly was just trying this as the easiest method to try to help reinforce the body is what I was doing. Just wanted to see if just scratching it, roughing it up and throwing down a couple coats of Flex Seal, how well it would help, or if it would help at all. So I'll definitely let you guys know how it holds up long term, or if it doesn't work so well. You're making a bracket for the fans? Is that what you're making them for, Alden? Now, these will be a bracket that holds off the motor or off the chassis. Oh, the ESC to 40mm. Oh, that would be nice. Yeah, I still have the stock fans on the ESC, and that is definitely something that I'm going to want to check out because, oh, that's right. I think I seen you talking about somebody else about that. The plates you were making for those. Because that's some of the worst thing, obviously, is keeping those ESCs cold, because That may have been what caused, some of my string of failures with ESCs going bad recently. Was just due to heat, because some of the during the summertime down at the motocross track, it was getting hot down there. Motors were getting hot, ESCs were getting hot, and I tried to just run them until I obviously was feeling it, and I noticed it was hotter. But we got a little more scientific now, so I can actually keep proper temperatures. Finally went and bought an actual heat temperature gun, so can kind of keep a better eye on things and make sure that things are running not too hot from the future, so we won't be hopefully overheating stuff as badly. But see how it goes. Yeah. Well, that would be nice, man. You get some brackets together to mount right up on those ESCs, because so you just pull off the stock plastic cover and fan, and this will mount right on there with whatever 40mm fan you want. But probably going to finish this up here soon. Yeah, PG Boost. Yeah, Jessica was talking. I think that I know that she mentioned this to me a while ago. We were talking about ways of reinforcing bodies, and she said something about Flex Seal or doing one. And this is how this started, I think. And I seen somebody else on maybe a YouTube video that laid down the drywall tape and all that stuff, that fiberglass tape, and sprayed it down, and tried that. And I've done bodies with this, doing the Gorilla Tape, which if you do it when the body is new, it actually definitely helps quite a bit. I think this might be heavier than maybe doing the other stuff. I don't know, because you put together a whole body with this Gorilla Tape, it definitely adds some weight to it, but it does help a lot. But I just figured I'd try just Flex Seal and see how she holds up. Definitely suggest, though, guys, if you spray Flex Seal, do it outside, because that stuff, and Jessica, you probably know this too, that stuff is nasty smelling. The fumes that stuff puts off is just unbearable. I had it down here in the garage, and I knew it was going to smell, so I decided to open up my door real quick, and I was spraying the stuff in here and then going outside. Terrible idea. Any smell of that stuff, it's potent, and plus when it sprays out of that nozzle, it kind of puts out some little spider webs of the stuff also, so make sure you don't do it around anything you care about, because there will be little spider webs that come off the spray nozzle, and you end up with it everywhere. So do it outside, and don't do it near anything you like. Yeah, and what I was wanting to get was, I thought about getting one of those unbreakable bodies for this thing. Right off the bat, maybe ordering one and trying those out. But then, one of the things that kept bothering me about the X-Maxes was the bodies constantly flying off on everybody. Well, then I come to find out that everybody that's usually having the body blowing off after every single jump are all those unbreakable bodies. Because of the weight of them, and they flex too much, that's why the bodies fall off after every time. And I really don't want to be sitting there retrieving the body after every jump. So I want to stay with the stock body, but so you still have that slight rigidness to it, so that it's not falling off after every jump. Because down at the skate park when I ran this thing, it wasn't taking obviously the hardest hits in the world, but I never had the body come off of it. So I don't really want to do one of the unbreakable bodies, just because they're the ones that are always falling off the cars. So I would like to do a clear one. Painting one up would be good. I don't really have any good paint skills. I just painted bodies white. The fanciest thing I've ever done was this, was my Typhon 3S, was painting it white and decaling it. So you can see I'm not a fancy painter. I did the Losi body too. I did it in white, and it shattered 30 seconds after I painted it. I took it out for its first run, wrecked it, destroyed the body. What's up, Tegrity RC? How's it going, bud? Pretty much just finishing up in here, I think. I don't think there's really anything else I can work on at the moment. I was hoping to work on the X-Maxx tonight, but that kind of turned into a bust with not getting the gearing for it. Everything else is honestly working pretty good at the moment. I'm just waiting for the parts for the X-Maxx to fix the shock, the gearing on that, but everything else is running good. So I think that's going to be probably it for the night. Yeah, you see, you know, Jessica, you probably dealt with the same thing with the spider webs flying off that thing. I first started spraying it, and like I had wind coming in my door, and I just seen these spider webs flying in the air. I'm like, took the rest of it outside, but by then, the smell that comes off of that thing, take brake cleaner and magnify it by 10, and that's how potent the fumes are that come from that stuff. I mean, it was nasty. I haven't smelled anything that potent smelling come from an aerosol can in quite some time. Okay, well, the Flex Steel's crazy stuff. Yeah. Go break something. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about oh, now I just forgot the name of this stuff. I don't think it's really hydro dip. Hydro dipping is whenever you're painting it, but that stuff that you know, they were selling it. You could dip your tool handles in it, and it would coat it. I forget the name of the stuff. I'm sure somebody out there remembers the name of the stuff. But anyway, I thought about trying that with the body also, because you can get it. I think it's just, I don't know if it comes in a spray can or not. I knew I've seen it in the cans where people are dipping tool handles in it and, you know, leaving it coating. And I wonder if that stuff would work on a body. You know, if you roughed it up or not too, how well that would hold. I was talking to a friend of mine about it, and he thinks he's used it on motorcycle parts and different stuff like that. And he said it held up really good. You know, until he was ready to take it off and had to, you know, peel it off, that it would not come off of anything. So, thought about trying that also, because you can get all kinds of that stuff in all kinds of different colors and different textures and stuff. So it could be fun also if it works. Plastic dip. See, Alan, you're always helpful. Plastic dip. Yeah, that stuff. There may have been another name for it too, but that's the exact same stuff as that plastic dip. I thought about trying that maybe in a body next and seeing how it holds up. I really want to try the hydro dipping. I've seen people do some incredible stuff with the hydro dips. I thought about wanting to try one at some point, but I'll have to try it on maybe something smaller first, like maybe try it on a little mini T or mini B body, and give an experiment on there first. And if it fails, then it'll just be an ugly body that I probably break. But I'd definitely be interested in trying that, because it looks like you can put together some really cool, you know, color combinations and patterns and everything. Over 200 design in stock. Hydro dipping is a great thing to do, but only in good weather. It's too cold out. So, oh yeah. So the hydro dipping, I mean, if you can, well, I guess if you're doing it in your garage or somewhere like that, obviously with all the different paint fumes, it would get kind of rather nasty, I guess. I think I'm going to get some plastic dip next. That's going to be the next experiment. Maybe since I haven't destroyed the new Typhon 3S body or something like that, I'll give it a try on that first. I need to reinforce the Creighton 8S body, because that thing is still completely stock. I haven't done anything to the body on that before I completely destroy, you know, a $80 or $90 body. I should probably reinforce that. So maybe we'll give the plastic dip a try on that. Maybe I'll order a can of that stuff and give it a try. But Alan, I'll contact you shortly. I'm gonna take a look around, and even have a local metal shop right down the road for me that has tons of different steels. Maybe I'll even take a run down there tomorrow and see what they got in 7075. And if I can get enough, and just, you know, talk and let me know what you want, you know, to do it. But I'd definitely love to get some shock towers made for the Typhon and the V4. The EXB has the heavy shock towers on it, but the V4 needs them, and the Typhon 6S, and that stuff would be great to get and have an extra set around for whatever else. Check out the Renegade graphics on Facebook. Let's take a look at them. Definitely curious. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for the evening, guys. I think that's all I got to really work on now at this point. At least I got the typhon fixed up. The only thing left to work on now is the X-Maxx, and it'll be a simple fix. It'll be a 5-minute repair job other than changing the gearing on it, which I'm not going to worry about that. But everything else is fixed up and running, so I think we're probably going to wrap it up, guys. Really appreciate everybody stopping in tonight. Was Build, Break, and Fix still in here? The missing post, but I know, Alan. I was trying to... The email was difficult. I need to get a hold of your... I'd love to exchange phone numbers with you at some point, somehow, to actually be able to get in contact with you. Sorry, I hadn't heard you chime in there for recently. Dude, that little, your speed car you got going, I think that thing's going to be able to rip around pretty good. I mean, it seems like that thing rips pretty good just on 2S. Get some good tires under that thing and a good battery, I think it should fly pretty good. Alright, guys. Well, we're going to call it an evening on that, I think, everyone. Got everything fixed up, everything ready to roll, so I'm going to be heading to Florida in a couple days and enjoying some warm weather, I guess, for a week. But got some videos put together, so we'll definitely continue to have some content coming here on the channel. And enjoy everybody stopping by, saying hi. I appreciate everybody that stopped by tonight new and subscribed to the channel. And appreciate all you guys that have been here from start to finish. But that's going to do it, guys. So until next time, y'all, be safe, be careful. Peace out, everybody.